Hello and welcome to the end of 2025, comrades. We are here to give you, the loyal listeners, the true and most accurate and most serious game awards that you will ever find on the internet. These are the only categories that matter, and you know, we hear complaints every year that the Jeffs they're biased. Kojima's going to walk away with everything, and the categories themselves make no sense.
I listened to a podcast that had a big stink about people perpetuating the Jeff Keighley Kojima conspiracies.
I mean, he's got to do something. He's got to at least nominate. He puts his finger on the scale at the very least to get him nominated so that he flies from Japan to the award show so that he can at least hang out with his best friend. We've joked about it.
Friendo.
We've joked about it on previous podcasts. You know, how do we think their relationship actually is? That, you know, Kojima is Jeff's best friend.
It's Yuji and Toto. Yeah. It's Yuji and Toto. They've been brothers forever. They bond over their love of putting people's soul into the soul machine.
But I don't know about that. I think Kojima is just like, we're acquaintances.
They did do a podcast together, and as we know, you know, there's no greater marriage between straight men than doing a podcast together.
Absolutely.
You know, we are a polycule here at Campaign Comrades. I don't know how long that podcast of theirs even lasted, though, so maybe they got divorced. Who knows? But folks, we have a list of refined categories. I take it as a personal mission each year to cull the categories that either didn't work or no longer fit the zeitgeist for the current year in gaming. We do have a couple, you know, mainstay categories that are going to be in the list forever and always. You know, they are core to our identity here. But then I do my best to keep things fresh, keep it more applicable to what's going on. I got my finger on the pulse, folks. That's my mission here. Yes, our jury is biased in the fact that I'm the only one creating the categories here. But I have no say on the nominations, nor the ultimate vote. I do, however, just in case, have our trusty die here to do to decide things again.
Yeah,
if we have three-way splits
dice again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As my results from our voting stream actually went, and I have a bone to pick with you all. I of course I was thinking this over as I was drifting off to sleep one night when you were like, oh, the true statistical way to do a D3 dice roll is to split up the numbers basically randomly on who gets assigned each one. And it's like, no, that's not how dice work. Each face has the same percentage to roll each time. The only reason that 2.5 is like the statistical average is just because that's just how division works. You know, it is not saying that those have a higher chance of
doing the angry man gesturing in front of the whiteboard and pointing, trying to talk down the fact that statistically speaking, it's completely fine to split it up 1 through 3, 4 through 6.
It's fine. Again, it's like, but that's the point, is that it is, you can split it up anyway, and the odds don't change. It is literally, each face always has the same odds of appearing.
That's why he's trying to defend putting it back to 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, just because
we figured out how the dice is loaded, and we fucked up his plan. So
he drilled out adjacent to the 1 and 2 faces. And
yeah, exactly.
Put a weight in there.
I mean, all plastic die are pretty much weighted in some way. They are not like well formed. I love seeing like the people like who have like Etsy shops or whatever who will like make their own cool like custom die, but those things roll like shit. You know, I've seen ones that have like a D20 for like a pirate themed D&D campaign, and it's got like a little ship in it, like a ship in a bottle, except it's a ship in a D20, and it even has like liquid inside to like, you know, to simulate the waves. And it's like, there's no way that rolls evenly. You know, that is purely a decorative piece. You know, that is not actually functional.
I've seen a very similar dice, but instead of a ship on the inside, it was the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, so the exact same things. It's like those are you got resin pockets in some way, in some shape. That is definitely a biased die. You know, metal is usually your best bet, but even those are still not wholly accurate. I did see
Most
somebody.
of your cheap metal die aren't going to be produced properly. Imagine getting in there with a nice CNC machine and really milling it down, getting each face perfect, tight tolerances, sharp corners, so you can fucking chuck it at your friend.
But then also like what you're gonna have to carve out for each number is probably gonna throw things off a little bit as well.
That's why you laser engrave so that it's microns.
Yeah, folks. These are the debates that go on behind the scenes at Campaign Comrades.
Look,
I've got.
Be on the lookout for our perfectly equally weighted die. We'll be releasing next year.
They will cost
$1,000 a set.
I was going to say they will cost somewhere around $500 to $1,000.
I did get a targeted Instagram ad one time where a guy has like, I have statistically reorganized the way the numbers appear on a D20, like to make to reshape so that they are as truly random as possible. I didn't follow the math on that one because again, in my mind, I'm like, that's not how statistics work. It is each die each side on a D20 still has a 5% chance of showing up. So it's something about the distribution. I don't know.
Yes, it's so that each quadrant's not the right term, but each quadrant adds up to the same total so that every face looking up has the same.
Right. That was like their argument.
Yes.
I'm like, again, I didn't take enough math classes to fully follow, but I'm like, I trust this guy. I trust this targeted Instagram ad.
You see, this is why I'm
definitely
good at
not
math,
susceptible
because
to
I don't have to
suggestion.
trust these people. I can check them.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to a restaurant and they give you like the pre-canned tips and you're looking like, that's not 15%.
Yeah, you fudge it a little bit. All right. But we're not going to fudge any of these categories. These have been honed in the lab for the most effective and just all-around categorical best categories that we could come up with. So starting off with like our two mainstays. These are ones that are never going anywhere. This is like we discussed in the video we recorded earlier in the month, the taxonomy of how you define games and genres is just not useful. So what's actual criteria you can use? And it's always going to be about vibes. And these two are basically our vibes-based categories. And so the first one that I have the pleasure of presenting to you is lean-in games. Games that force you on the edge of your seat, whether it's from a gripping narrative or intense tactical combat or something else that just gets you and grabs you by the nose and pulls you as close to the screen as you possibly can. We are all 10 years old again, sitting in front of the TV, rotting our brains and loving every second of it. So these are those games. And so we each are coming to these categories with several nominations just because we're down a comrade this year. That makes it sound like Mike is dead. R.I.P. Mike. But we're each coming with two nominations just to avoid some overlaps. So we'll have a max of 6 nominees per category. I think in most it's unlikely that we'll reach that height, but it's definitely possible. So you guys tell me, how do you want to, do you just want to each of us shout out our 2 or go one by one?
Let's go one by one. Start with your top heater.
One, our ranked choice.
Yeah.
Okay, and my feeling is you don't need to give much explanation for your nomination. We'll get into the arguments really as we place our votes.
Pontificate on each one.
Yeah, so like let's just you can give your nominations with like a quick little blurb why you think it fits, and very quick, and then we can debate them further as we vote. So for lean-in games, my first nomination is Elden Ring Nightreign, and I feel like it's going to be across multiple lists. That this was a shoe-in for most of us. That
is also my top nomination.
Say, Andrew, do you want to spoil it? Was it yours as well?
Yeah. That was definitely my top nomination.
Okay, so then we can immediately go into number 2 as well. But Nightreign, yeah, it's just like the sweatiness of online multiplayer with the added bits of Souls-like combat.
Look, I'm playing with a bird and an executor.
Just wanting to kill myself. And I'm keeping track of the nominations here. So we've got Nightreign. Folks, hop on Nightreign. As our kind of main nomination is probably going to win. But my next nomination was Monster Hunter Wilds, as this was a game that
it made Mike get sweaty.
As it appears in other categories for me, it was another one that just grabbed me, and it was just gotta do one more hunt. It's the type of game that makes you fiend for more. Like when a Monster Hunter game hits for you, which we've all agreed sometimes it doesn't. When it does, though, I understand. But when it does, it's just the loop is so addictive. You are just, again, on the edge of your seat. I need this part to make this next piece of armor. So it was constantly just yanking me closer to the screen. All right, who's got another lean in game?
I got my second nomination, and I think this is a fairly popular one. I haven't played it, but I know enough people who have and how it's ruined their lives since it came out. And my nomination is Arc Raiders. I know so many people who have thrown so many hours at this game already, and all they do is they leave work and they go and play Arc Raiders, and they come back to work and they tell me about their Arc Raiders, and then they go home for the weekend and all they do is play Arc Raiders while their girlfriend sits on the couch sad that she's not getting attention.
Why don't we ever do anything anymore? Babe, I'm taking down the queen. I think there are queen somethings in that.
All I know is I've got coworkers who are using the AI voice changer to sound like girls to try to not get killed all the time. And unfortunately, the way that gamers work, it results in them dying more frequently.
That is total lean in Reddit behavior. Absolutely.
So that's my nomination.
All right. I'm gonna bring it up with Ghost of Yotei here at the end. It is pure cinema at points. Like, the samurai one-on-one battles are just still a banging opener. The combat's so tight, you just want to lean in, get those parries. It feels so good to parry, and for that reason, I'm giving my second nomination to Ghost of Yotei.
All right, I would normally disagree with Ghost of Yotei because to me the Ghost games are very flow state, and a lot of the exploration element of it turns it into a bit of a lean back game, exemplified by the addition of the lo-fi beats mode, the Watanabe mode.
Fair.
That would be like my normal pick. However, the Takezo the Unrivaled boss fight had me raging because I was, except for the first couple attempts where he would one-shot me and I had to like kind of retool my charm loadout and what I was going for. It had me by the nose, and I didn't step away until I beat him like 30 attempts later, and it was just, back in it. So that was, for that fight alone, I think it is a worthy nomination. Doesn't get my vote though. This one is hard. It's hard to say that, is somebody going to vote for something else because we all had the same top pick, which I hope doesn't happen again. I started this out like, we're probably not going to have too many overlaps. But immediately, first one, same pick. So, is anybody voting for anything else?
Is there a purpose to? Do you want me to just to do it?
No, I don't think so. I think Nightreign wins it pretty handy.
I mean, 140 hours according to my PS5 on Nightreign this year.
How is that possible? Unless yours is slightly bugged. Like, I'm at like 100 and I checked last night. This is from my in-game one that shows you when you close. I'm at 114, and I felt like I played more than you. Well, I guess not. You played for, that's right. You did play for a while, even after getting the plat.
Yeah. And I was running solo a bunch and...
Okay. I forgot about that stretch of time. So that tracks. All right. Next up.
All right. Second nomination is the cohort to lean in games. The antithesis, the synonym, right? No, it's antonym.
No.
I'm functionally illiterate.
So he does numbers, I do the words. That's why, this thing works well.
To lean in games is our definition for lean back games. The game that you're chilling, you're sitting back in your seat, controller, hanging down. Maybe you're split Joy-Con in it, really, really feeling relaxed.
Oh, yeah.
That's the ultimate Zen state right there.
Yeah, you got a leg kicked up.
The best is like you're lounging back. You're lounging back. You got the split Joy-Cons. You got one down here, and you got one got your arm behind your head, and you're just using the other one right there.
I was thinking also the single leg up on the chair.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I do. That's I definitely ascribe to the the bisexual sitting techniques of being splayed in different ways. You guys are familiar with that lore? But yeah, the knee up is a little too much for me.
Maybe that's just for the flexible people in here.
Yeah, which is not me. Which is definitely not me.
So my nomination for my first lean back game of the year, and I feel like this one might be different for everyone else. I got Donkey Kong Bonanza. I was going Bonanza.
Number one.
You got
for
that
me?
one too? Dude, it's such a lean back game. You're fucking,
it absolutely
you're destroying shit. You're fucking going around. Ooh, banana. You know, you're just out there doing it. You're donkeying that Kong so hard.
I totally agree, and it was definitely one of my picks. But Andrew, you can do another one before we go into second round.
I'm going with Blueprints here. This was just like very, very lean back. You're chilling. You can take your time and just analyze each room you're in. There's no combat or anything that requires you to be quick. It gives you time to breathe, space, just absorbing the mansion in its state and trying to advance to the end using the various blueprints that you get. So that's my top lean back game for 2025 nomination.
I feel it like depends on like what type of autist you are for blueprints.
Yes.
Like if
could be a lean in game for some.
If you're a hyper autist, like you are leaning in, you're taking notes, you know, you are not going with the flow, with the vibe. You are being meticulous in that way. So I know for some that they might argue that one. But so my next one, and even though like I had DK Bonanza as my first pick, but like as I thought about it when I was going to make make another pick for myself, I think I may actually lean as a favorite for this one is Sword of the Sea.
You stole my second nomination.
Really? We did. We had the vote. God damn it! Yeah, Sword of the Sea.
I thought I was gonna come in with the fucking with the sneaky one.
Yeah, with the left field pick. No, Sword of the Sea. That was, you know, by definition, a flow state
every
game
that developer makes
is just complete flow state. You know, yes, you can do, you know, kind of like Tony Hawk type tricks in it, but you are just literally flowing through the water. At certain points, you ride a giant shark or a giant dolphin and are literally just going through the waves. And it is a game all about atmosphere and vibes, just the gliding along the clear paths through the sand dunes and through the water that you reinvigorate the world with. To me, it was a short enough experience that it justifies the case as well, that it is something that you just kind of let wash over you and exist in that way. But yeah, DK Bonanza is definitely just a dedicated lean back game.
Sword of the Sea very much gives me Journey vibes.
The head of that studio was the art director for Journey. They're both scored by Austin Wintory, you know, so it's very much of that in that lineage.
Okay. My second nomination, listen, might be a controversial for some as well. It's going to be Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, because playing that game feels like you're just watching an Indiana Jones movie. And I mean that most complimentary way. I was not expecting to be as positive on that game as I ended up being at the end of it, because I didn't love the first person, but they really nailed the atmosphere, the story, the puzzling, just all of the quintessential Indiana Jones themes and imagery really are nailed in that game. And it feels like you're watching a movie, just chilling there on your couch. And sometimes you get to, you know, swing the whip yourself. So that's going to be my other lean back game.
It definitely appeals to that sensibility from its kind of the nostalgia it brings up. It feels cozy in a sense.
Exactly.
I think that may be specific to people of, you know, our...
What is cozier than punching Nazis?
Absolutely.
Can't think of anything.
And the combat is so, like, laughable in that game that obviously that, you know, does not make it a lean-in game in any way.
No.
Okay, votes. Vote time. What do we got?
I will cast my first vote, and I'm going to lean fully into my Donkey Kong Bonanza.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
I'm going to vote for Sword of the Sea, actually, just because I think that really nails vibes of a lean back game, just in what you've described.
It's not an empty game either. It has maybe not as clear and decisive of a message as something like Journey did, but it still has a point of view that it's trying to get across. And so it does make you think, and does have impact, but it is still just something that is, I think, designed around
Would you
flow.
say it's a game for impact?
No, that's our next category. But no, I will vote for Sword of the Sea as well, and I'm going to deny the Kong and give it to.
You're going to wake up and there's going to be a giant gorilla at the foot of your bed tonight.
Going to be asking for my banana.
Okay, with our next award, we are celebrating the advances in curing cancer, celebrating impacts that are positive to the world through games. These are our most artful and positive, not necessarily positive, but meaningful, impactful, blue-haired stories that we have. And
these are the alphabet games, folks.
Yeah, the alphabet games. So, without further ado, I will introduce our first nominee coming from myself, and I'm going to go with Citizen Sleeper 2.
Let's go.
Their narratives and themes, I think, fit this category perfectly, and I, too, feel enslaved by my corporate job, so I empathize with
I love Citizen Sleeper 2. I love both of them. It was so good. That was my number 2 pick. I have a number 1 pick that goes to a very short game. Takes about like an hour. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the game Florence. It is very much in that style. They're really just more like kind of these just like little interactive story moments that it's like, to call it gameplay is kind of a stretch, but it's using these, interactive inputs to impart meaning in this significant way. And so this is a small game called And Roger. I can't nominate this category without essentially spoiling its main deal. And it is a heartbreaking tale that starts off at a very unsettling premise, that you are a girl who wakes up in her house confused and find a strange man in your house, and things kind of progress from there. And through these unsettling and again, heartbreaking uses of gameplay, as you're trying to like work through this sense of befuddlement, you realize over time, it becomes clear that this is in fact an old woman suffering from dementia, and it is basically has gamified. It's a crass kind of word for it, but it has, in this interactive mode, shown and expressed, again, her kind of confusion with how things are working and the effects that it is having on her relationship. So the man is her husband, and she just doesn't know who he is. And she moves through these different times of lucidity, and you can sometimes in sections move the timelines back and forth. Like there's these like tough ones where it's like just trying to open the door. There are these dots that you're clicking on, and it's like you're trying to like follow a set of steps to like brush your teeth, to open the door, to eat your breakfast, and it's like you're trying to press a dot to do the one step first and try to figure out the order that they go in, but then the dots will reorganize, will move around, and sometimes they'll be eliminated and sometimes they won't. And it's just the frustration, the fear that is evoked from just not knowing who you are anymore. And it was an affecting experience, and one that I recommend. And it's like you can play it in like an hour. And it's not for for people. It could hit close to home for anybody who has a family member who has experienced it. But it was a very unique experience. And again, one of those things where this could only be done in an interactive format. This would not be effective as like a short story. So, And Roger is the name of it.
I want to check that out.
So my nominee, in a completely different tonal direction, I took this one very, very literally and said, what is more artistic than friendship and the community of friendship? And I said peak.
Okay.
Because that game brought people together, and what truly cures cancer is the power of friendship, as we discussed.
Yeah, we discussed in our other video, that there's nothing more powerful than the power of friendship.
And watching your friend plummet to their death from the side of a mountain.
I'd like to try a little bit of dip our toes a little
into
bit
the
more
quote unquote friend slop.
Into the friend slop space, yeah. No, that one's cool just because it was a game that started off as, it was like an indie jam. It was like a game jam thing that Aggro Crab and I forget what the other studio is, like Landfall or something. There's so many fall, like that's people have discussed like the naming conventions of games and game studios. They use the word fall in like everything. Babylon's Fall, Sandfall. I'm pretty sure it's like Landfall or Land something. I'll look that up. Andrew, do you have a number 2 pick? Because again, mine it is Landfall. I was correct, yes. But then Aggro Crab, the people who did Another Crab's Treasure, is like such a weird partnership. But yeah, Citizen Sleeper was my number 2 as well.
Yeah, so I took some liberties here, and I think we need to also represent just a great artist, and I'm going to nominate Death Stranding 2. Sir, Mr. Kojima, please make your way to the stage.
As the only one who actually played that game, it pains me to put this here.
I knew it would.
It's got a VTuber in it. What's more artistic than a game representation of a 3D
it's
anime
like,
girl?
Calling this like high art is like the banana duct tape to the wall in the MoMA.
Yes, exactly.
This is like freshman year philosophy for submentals. This is philosophy 101 at Arizona State.
What about Southern New Hampshire University?
No, we don't disrespect the New England schools, even the mail-in degree ones. It bothers me. I've said before, gameplay was worse because it was easier, and the friction of the gameplay of the original was actually its best and most effective element, and how the strand stuff worked with you're struggling to make these connections to bring the sector onto the grid, and then once you do, you have all the things that other people in our real world have built. That was an effective tool, and again, one of those things of this is a message that could only be delivered through the interactive medium of gaming. And so this just made that whole much less impactful. And then the story is just dog shit. It's just worse. Except for then it's a swap of the original where the ending was actually good in Death Stranding 2 and made me actually reflect back a little bit on the whole experience. It's like, okay, maybe I was a little too harsh on it, but no, it's still not good. The game is still not good.
Okay.
So who are we voting for here? Where's the vote going? You didn't give me
my second nomination.
I thought you did. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Nope, that's it. No one cares to hear what my second nomination is.
No, I do.
All just raring to vote.
I
no
do
one
want
wants
to
to
hear
hear about Despelote.
Oh, but that's a good pick. Which I don't
have much to say about it because I didn't play it, but from what I've seen about it and heard about it from people who have played it, it is the absolute definition of this category.
Yeah, I played it. Another one that can be like beaten in a day in a sitting. It didn't hit as impactful for me. I think I've discussed it once earlier on the podcast. I think it would if I spoke Spanish natively versus like my very minor, like I could maybe parse my way through written stuff. But like its whole attempt is to be this slice of life thing through a specific historical point in Ecuador's history and in a specific location. But the life part of it is about hearing all the ambient stuff that goes on around it. And that obviously just goes over my head because I can't just pick up the random barks, like, because for all I know they're what could be so impactful is that like the kid is being a kid and is playing football with his friends and ignoring the parents' instructions as this kind of economic crisis is happening, as it's this tension of feelings in Ecuador as political and economic struggle at the same time as it's the first time that the national team is qualifying for the World Cup. So it's hope and despair warring at each other in this culture. So to hear people talking about the adults in the room talking about those different things, I think would be more impactful. And so if you speak Spanish, I think you would probably really love this game. But for me, it didn't hit quite as hard as I had been led to believe. It did have this cool element that I think, Matt, you would have appreciated. It's this like really interesting art style for the majority of the game. It's this kind of like, it was like almost like it was like rotoscoped in a way, but then like color is taken out of it and it's just kind of like interesting pixelated grayscale color scheme. And then at one point it changes and they had like meticulously done like a 3D model of the whole space. It looks bizarre because like it's not like expertly done, but then it's a 3D modeling of the exact same space as it like exists now today. And so to see that juxtaposition was cool. I think you would appreciate that from a technical point of view, Matt. But yeah, it didn't hit for me. I can see why it would though, but it didn't hit for me. So voting.
I'm going to go Citizen Sleeper too.
I will give it to Citizen Sleeper myself as well.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's great. I'm going to vote for And Roger, but as a game experience, I liked Citizen Sleeper 2 better. And, I love the Citizen Sleeper games, and we really, everybody's talking about Spotify Wrapped and all that, and apparently listening to the Citizen Sleeper 2 soundtrack almost exclusively on my Spotify account has given me the listening age of 16 years old. Apparently a bunch of, Gen Z and Gen Alpha are listening to Citizen Sleeper, so the kids are all right. The kids are all right in my book.
His listening age was 16, you monster.
I'm impressionable. Don't groom me. Okay, speaking of grooming, our next category is worst YouTuber. No.
Speedrun. There's 50 names.
Our next
Everyone
category.
Who played Smash competitively.
Another mainstay that, we can't, we're human beings here, folks. We can't escape our needs, our urges, our desires. So our next category,
I have a feeling this is going to be a category that has a bunch of overlap.
Probably. But this is one-handed gaming. What is our horniest game of this year? What is the game that is just dripping with sex and sex appeal? I'll give my first.
You want to say it all three together?
I'm pretty sure I know which one you're saying. That's my technical second one, I think. I don't know. You may surprise me here. But my number one is Dispatch.
It's my number two.
My number one is Dispatch. That game is horny. And so is
I've seen a lot of really thirsty people for that game.
So is everybody who plays it.
Yep.
Malevola, 6 or 7 foot demon lady, please step on me. Please step on my crotch.
They really.
The fact that she's not a romance option is criminal.
I saw clips of Park and Arbor playing Dispatch.
Who was she thirsting over?
No, she was using women's intuition to know that I think the blonde lady isn't actually into you.
That's hilarious because I've seen plenty of other female streamers playing the game and going for the kiss and being like, "Oh my god, I now understand what men go through."
I went for it, man. How could you not?
She's giving you the signals. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, they totally are setting you up. I was shocked at the stats of people who didn't go for it, to be honest.
Well, Parky knew. She was like, I know women, and this is not it.
She's the first one that I've seen to actually, she's the real feminist here. So kudos to her.
Dispatch is also my number one here. I'm
gonna
throw out my number two.
Nominees?
No, my number two is going to be different.
First, you haven't finished Dispatch yet, right?
No, I haven't.
But who are you romancing? Are you Blonde Blazer or Invisigal?
Invisigal.
The right choice, the only choice. Again, if we're real though, the correct choice is Flambe.
I do like Flambe. My number two though, or my other nomination is going to be MGS Delta.
The original game was super horny, but it retained.
It retains it. It retains it.
Who's horniest? Hot. Who's horniest for who?
Eva. Eva is
really
lusting.
Really Ocelot isn't hornier for Snake.
Yeah, no. Ocelot's more of a simp for Snake. Eva is horny for Snake. That's how I would distinguish the two.
Interesting. Fair, Matt. What's your number?
82.
Oh, okay. That was not actually mine.
Really? Wow. I'm surprised none of you realized and wanted to go with the absolute horniest game. That was my number one, I should add. Dispatch was my number two.
Yeah.
The absolute horniest game. Dionysus's bulge. It's huge. It's massive, folks.
I guess to me it's
every
because
single character in that game is hot. Every single one of them.
Well, one is because we gave Hades this award years ago. But
Definitely.
also to me it's like Hades 2 just doesn't feel like a game that released this year because, like, to me, it's the early access period makes me feel like it's been out for much longer. So it honestly just didn't occur to me. But it's 100% legitimate. And in a lot of ways, more legitimate than my number two pick, which is only getting in on a technicality of, again, released after last year's award season. And that is Marvel Rivals. You're telling me that you're not acting up for caked up Venom twerking at you as an actual emote in the game? Come on.
Fans sure are. I can tell you that.
So where's our vote? Where are our votes landing? I'm honestly torn. These are all very good picks.
My vote directly to Hades 2.
Fair. That's fair. I'm gonna go Dispatch.
Okay.
The only reason I'm not going MGS is because it's just a literal remake of a game that came out 20 years ago. That's the only reason.
Right. I want to give my vote to Marvel Rivals just because those devs are themselves incredibly horny. And it is Gooner the game at this point with all like the seasonal costumes. Dionysus is in a banana hammock, but so is Loki, you know? So we're gonna leave this one up to the dice.
Overwatch walks so Marvel Rivals could run. Like
absolutely.
Everyone knows how this is just built off of the exact same mechanics. They nerfed Tracer's ass because it was too big for Overwatch fans. And so Marvel Rivals devs were like, we're just going to make Emma Frost's legs enormous.
Squirrel Girl representation, folks. Come on. They literally, in their 3D models that they data mined, she is fully functional, let's say.
Oh, no.
Overwatch
set my God, precedent. I didn't know that.
It was the game that like broke precedent for 3D.
Oh, absolutely.
Animation porn.
It not only that, it propelled 3D animation itself further because of its porn. Like innovations in 3D like mapping and in animations were made because of Overwatch porn. You know, that's the grandfather. Absolutely. We don't go anywhere without recognizing them, but that doesn't mean
might
that
actually be
the
better
successor
off as a society without it.
Probably. All right, so
learning that fact almost makes me want to change my vote. That's fucking Jesus Christ.
It's diabolical, but they're doing a service for somebody. Okay, so how do you folks want to divvy up the dice?
1, 2, 3,
dice
4,
values?
5, 6.
What does that mean? What do you mean 1, 2, 3, 4?
Someone's 1 and 3.
Same way we're presenting.
Someone's 1 and 4. Someone's 2 and 5.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Who gets which? You guys can decide.
You're 1 and 4. I'm 2 and 5. Andrew's 3 and 6. Okay. The exact same way we're presenting.
You guys are not going to believe me, but it's a 4.
That's fine.
I need a dice cam. I need a dice cam. Let's just put a big asterisk here. Winner. Marvel Rivals.
Deserve it.
Winning on a technicality.
Who's
going to recognize their hard work, folks?
Moving along to our next category. What we formerly called the no-lifer, which we have now adjusted the naming scheme to the unemployment sim. The game that takes the most of your time, demands all of it, nothing else. It's like the attention-hungry girlfriend that always wants 100% of your focus, and you're not allowed to split for a second. And I've already discussed this game once before in our nomination for one of our prior categories, and I think it fits perfectly here in Arc Raiders. Again, the people that I know that play this game legitimately do not play anything else right now. They are shirking life responsibilities for this game, which is one of those, like, once you've been like, well, I can afford to not do laundry for a week so I can play another couple games of Arc Raiders. Like, I'll just throw my dishes out and go buy new dishes. So that I can keep playing Arc Raiders. That's when you know.
And they're not going out to buy them, folks. They're, hired.
DoorDash.
They're DoorDashing that shit. They're engaging a underpaid migrant worker.
$80 for 5 plates.
They have a disability of being addicted to Arc Raiders, so they can order DoorDash. All right.
Yeah, it's ableist. You're being ableist, man.
That's my number 1 nomination.
Okay, honestly, while my 2 picks are personal, these were the games that demanded the most of my time. I don't think I'm going to vote for either of them over Arc Raiders because the discourse that it has generated over the incredible aura of unemployment that the content creators in that space exhibit is unparalleled. And it has created, drama between the actual employed fan base. Those who do have actual jobs and are be like, yeah, the game is great and I have so much left to do because I'm not playing it 12 hours a day. But my first one, again, personal for me, was Monster Hunter Wilds. And even though it's not my preferred game of the 2 that I listed, it was the one that, found myself... I usually have a game a year where, at least in one play session, I'll be like, oh, it's 10 p.m., I can do one more and still get to bed at a reasonable hour. And I then look behind me and see sunlight creeping in from my window. Next thing I know. There's usually one game, and this year it was Monster Hunter, because it's just like, one more hunt. I got to farm these components to make the ultimate longsword. I got to get the paralysis weapon for this next hunt. It was addictive in that way. So Monster Hunter Wilds is my first pick.
I certainly went, with a more personal view for my first nomination at least, and that is going to be Nightreign. This game I spent the most playing time in this year. So purely just on that alone, and the itch that it did create for me for a good 3 months, which for myself is substantial. Definitely giving my first nomination.
See, I wanted to put Nightreign here, but I respect it too much to put it in this category. I save this category for games that I don't respect.
Oh, I don't necessarily do that.
Which is why my second nomination is Battlefield 6. The only other game of that people that I know play to an unhealthy degree. Let's just put it this way: the electricians that I have contracted at one point were leaving early to go play Battlefield 6. They would rather stop making money to go play an extra hour of Battlefield 6.
Respect. Priorities.
Hell yeah.
Priorities are in the right place.
And how upset they got when I told them, they asked me, they're like, "You gonna hop on Battlefield with us?" I was like, "Never." And they're like, "What, you don't like us?" I was like, "No, I will just never play that game."
I would have said,
yes,
like,
I don't like you.
I would have said, like, I did like you, but now I don't respect you. My number 2 is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, another game that absorbed me in terms of my dedication to the game and my time spent playing. I technically played more KCD2 than I did Monster Hunter, and I played more Nightreign than Monster Hunter as well, but like Monster Hunter was really just the moment that it was in, like, kind of pulled me more. Even as I was playing, I was like, I'm going to have to nominate this for the No-Lifer. So, but KCD2 was another one. It was just on its pure scale and immersiveness that it pulled me through. Andrew, number 2 for you?
My number 2 is also KCD2, because that game, I saw the playtime and reviews talking about how lengthy of a game it really is.
How girthy of a game it is.
How much girth it had, and I'm intimidated by it. So that's why I'm nominating it. There's parts of me that are very interested, but like the gameplay time itself is just very intimidating. I am little Riley Reid in the meme, to say the least, when it comes to this game.
Matt has disappeared.
He's back.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to go become an anime bred girl.
It's time to vote. Time to place our votes.
Pretty easy for me, Arc Raiders.
I'm voting for Arc Raiders.
I am as well. Gets a sweep.
It's a sweep, folks.
It just, you can't tell me it doesn't deserve it.
Absolutely.
This is the Claire Obscure Expedition 33 of unemployment sims.
And I think also as a genre, traction shooters fit this the best. They're sweaty in a different way, and it's in a way that, like, lives in a basement type.
Yes, absolutely. All right, on to our next award here. This is for our quadruple A rated games. Where are we seeing innovation, pushing the boundaries of the industry? Who's really going for it?
Tone indicator, sarcasm.
And if that's not more obvious with my first nomination, I am nominating Borderlands 4. They have precisely innovated in making me go insane with the map here. It is the most ludicrous map I have used in any video game. Outdoes Ubisoft in their Assassin's Creed map slop. It literally, like, makes me, unfortunately, like, not want to play the game. As soon as I boot it up, I load in and we're like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I look at the map and it's just covered in shit, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm gonna do. So thank you, Randy Pitchford, for your fucking innovation there.
Stop calling him by name.
You're gonna summon him like the Baba Yaga.
He's already in our mentions.
All right. My first pick is, I don't know if it's going to piss anybody off, because even its most diehard fans would be like, yeah, this shit still sucks, but I'll eat that slop up every day of the week. Is Pokemon Legends ZA. Folks, do you like flat PNGs for all your environment textures? Do you yes, the barest minimum
Leave the devs alone. They said they wanted to make the game run better, and this is the only way they could make the game run better.
Do you want to, run around the most uninspired map of all time? Do you want to... Yeah, so this game fits both in the sarcastic and in the kind of true version. They have, in terms of the scale of Pokemon games, they have, truly broken new ground and innovated by adopting game battle systems that have been around for like 15 years.
Yeah, for a decade plus.
With their active battle system. But for Pokemon, that's radical. That's radically different, but still the same slop as it ever was.
My first nomination, and I feel like this is a game that this category could just be named after. Call of Duty Black Ops 27.
Are you purposely calling it 27, or since it's technically 7? Black Ops 7.
It's technically 7. I just added the 20 there because it's the same Call of Duty that's come out for fucking 80 years at this point, and people are finally theoretically not buying this game if the data is to be believed, which to me, proves, how innovative it is. It's making people not buy COD.
That is absolutely breaking new ground and something that should be celebrated.
You celebrate that.
All right, Andrew, do you have a second pick?
Yeah, second pick. I wanted to shout this game out, and I'm doing this pick more seriously here, and that's Split Fiction. I know
that was my second pick.
Cool. I know it's, the formula is very much not innovative, but the final 45 minutes of that game and how you jump between the two screens of the split screen while still being in the same level with your co-player is something I've not stopped thinking about. It is truly innovative and very cool, and I want to shout them out for that because it's something that still is in my brain 6-7 months later, and if you can do that, you deserve something.
Can't use those numbers.
Oh shit.
Have you seen the video of the Grinch performer who has completely undermined all of the 6-7 brain rot? So some little kid who deserved to be punted into the next county comes up to the Grinch and does the 6-7, and he just immediately goes 8-9, and the kid it just melts the kid's brain. He's like, wait, what? No.
Shout out.
The Grinch has saved Christmas once again. So I don't like the Split Fiction nomination just because this is a purely satirical category.
Yeah,
I just don't have them anywhere else to shout out.
Purely because we've seen this before.
It's like putting a game with actual innovative gameplay mechanics, and that's actually a good game in this category upsets me. So I'll be boycotting this category. No, but my second pick is you got to have an Ubisoft game in here. Come on, folks. This is like where this category originates from.
Were there any Ubisoft? Oh yeah, there was
AC Shadows. AC Shadows. They innovated.
Forgive me for not remembering the fact because Ubisoft has slowed down their game releases after the wonderful Skull and Bones release.
They
made them so much money
by giving you a character to play who's not an actual assassin, who can't actually do assassinations and can't stealth and can't actually do parkour. Like half the game you have to then go through like random menus to switch your character. Not even like story progression, just to play the game.
Oh, I did not realize that aspect. I thought it was just like their fighting styles.
No, people are the usual suspects, like game bad because black man in game. It's like no, game bad because the character can't do the things you want to do in a stealth assassin game. Like what are we talking about? Their combat styles are completely different, but that's all he can do. That's all Yasuke's kit is combat. He can't he can't assassinate people. He can do like they call it like a brutal something, and he can't do it quietly. It alerts everybody in a near radius. He just pops out, rips a dude's head off, and everybody starts fighting because that's what he's built for. But no, literally he can't parkour. He can't do any climb. He can like climb up like not even a single story. He can climb up like onto like a ledge, and that's it. And plenty of the game still requires the core gameplay of climbing up the tower so say you've been playing as Yasuke for a while, you then have to go through like two menus to switch. There's no seamless switching. You have to go through and then switch to Nawe to then do the climbing, and then you have to switch back if that's what you want to do. And they are truly showing new and interesting ways to make bad game design. So you got to give them credit. Time for the votes, folks. Where are they coming? Where are we landing? I'm going to give mine to Pokimane, to the Pokemons.
I think Pokemon for just their lifetime achievement at innovation in general.
I mean, do we know if Mike has played it? Is it the first Pokemon game that Mike has not no-lifed immediately on launch?
No, has not played it to my knowledge yet.
So that's pretty innovative.
I mean, he could play it on. I doubt he's bought a Switch 2, but he could. You can play it on Switch 1. Runs like ass, but that has never stopped him in the past.
I mean, it's clearly won already with the majority, so I'm going to throw my vote to Call of Duty Black Ops 27.
It gets an honorable mention, just again, for tanking the franchise, hopefully. One can only hope.
Please.
No, you see, we shouldn't hope that, though, because Call of Duty tanking just means that other Microsoft studios are going to get laid off.
Or just let those studios do something else, for Christ's sake.
Everyone is a support studio for Call of Duty.
Right. But speaking of, that, hope is meaningless in this era, and Microsoft, got our next category here. Folks, we are Microsoft. You will be acquired. Your monthly active users and intellectual property will be made part of our own. Resistance is futile. This is our category of corporate greed, consolidation, the downstream effects of everything wrong with our industry today. And so anything big business related could fit into this category. I'm open to different interpretations of this one. But my first pick is falling along the lines of Microsoft and the effects of Microsoft just consuming the industry and producing nothing from it other than misery and woe, is their closing of their own first-party studio, The Initiative, and canceling the Perfect Dark reboot.
I'm going with not, one of our most frequently hated on, but I'm going with Bungie and Marathon. The bungling of Marathon is just an all-timer. Not only did that suck on its own, but then to have been caught stealing art just so blatantly, they got owned, and they deserve this embarrassment. So I'm going with Bungie and their Marathon debacle for my number one.
I'm going with Entertainment Arts and their acquisition by the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund and Jared Kushner.
As we saw recently,
who is also the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund.
But as we saw recently, it's like they're contributing like 1%.
I think it's 7%.
That might be the billions.
The Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund is 93% total, and then I think there's the Kushner and
don't forget the another part of the percentage comes from what was already owned. The Saudis already owned a percentage of it, and so in this
new thing, they also already own a percentage of the Kushner.
No, I understand. I know I saw the percentage of 1.1% somewhere. And
Kushner's money came from the Saudis one way or another, really. So
yeah, it's just shell games.
Yeah, my number 2 was the specific of art theft at Bungie, of that in particular.
Okay, then my number 2 is Xbox increasing the prices of Xbox consoles while not selling them at all. To the point where what was the third party hardware that outsold Xbox this last month, Matt? I've never even heard of it.
It's like a family box. It's like use your body to play games like Wii Sports type playground thing. It's like a Wii Fit. It's like a Wii Fit type thing.
Amazing. That's how selling
Android
Xbox.
Connect box.
Jesus.
I mean, good reason why that outsold was there was probably like some like deals on it or whatever.
I sent the picture yesterday
Yeah.
from my local Walmart with the sarcastic tone of, is this an Xbox? As the Xbox themed section kiosk was full of PlayStations and their accessories, which hilariously, if you did look in the next bin, which was one of the 3 Switch kiosks they had, there were a couple Series S's tucked in the bottom there. So they absolutely could have put those over there in that Xbox kiosk. Yeah. This was my second nomination, was more or less the bungling of how they've handled their end of life with their console. 2 price raises. It's not selling it in like a bunch of new territories.
Was it the Middle East? The Middle East that they're just completely
Middle East,
abandoned?
and I think
Australia?
Whatever, Oceania, like New Zealand, Australia, nomination voting time.
Go ahead.
I'm going Marathon. I just like so much egg on their face. The whole thing is ridiculous. It was a bad idea from the get-go. The game itself sucks, and then on top of it all, they stole the best part of the game, which was like the cool visual palette.
Whoever was responsible for the acquisition on Sony's part, like if it was Jim Ryan, like that golden parachute needs to be reclaimed at yesterday. Whoever oversaw that, hopefully is being sent to the re-education camps because they fucked up royally. And I don't know how the Bungie execs are not like going to face some type of like kind of criminal proceedings, not from that, but from artificially inflating their value from the purchase. Like that has become clear, and I think even has been evidenced. And I don't know how they don't see some repercussion from it. Matt, I'll let you vote first, and all.
My vote clearly goes to the EA and the Saudi deal, just because I think that perfectly encapsulates like everything I don't like about what the Saudis are doing with how they're acquiring things, and it perfectly encapsulates where like the gaming world is currently. We don't have any like big Embracer studio news this year beyond, I think they sold a couple more of the studios they bought. Like this would generally be where I would just drop Embracer hate, but not enough of it to be hated this year, so we'll go with my second choice.
What about as a late minute addition? Nothing's solidified yet, but the Netflix buying Warner Brothers, which will include WB Games and all those properties. What's that going to mean? As much as like, again, consolidation is bad no matter what, but I am actually rooting for the Paramount hostile takeover.
I want the CIA and Larry Ellison to own it.
I would much prefer that than
I saw a really funny
fucking Netflix
Reddit post of people like trying to create a petition to get Netflix to like unpatent the Nemesis system.
That's not going to happen. But just I sent you guys the tweet that somebody made of and the image has just been killing me of like, I repeat, Netflix can make a Lord of the Rings remake. I repeat. And it's just somebody like attached just horrific Bugs Bunny just shrieking.
Yeah.
No! Take it back!
Lena Khan, we've never needed you more.
Yeah, fuck. In terms of impact, I think I have to give it to EA being bought by the Saudis, even though personally I think the Bungie one is just more fucked in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's not good.
So much sports washing. And they literally bought the studio that just makes sports games, essentially.
Truly, resistance is futile in this life. There's only things are only going to get worse and more vertically integrated.
More synergies.
I think this is a perfect opportunity to take our first sponsored ad break of the stream for me to tell you about the new Campaign Comrades collaboration with your favorite gaming energy drink. We've got the new snake oil flavored G Fuel. And if you use code Comrade, you will get a free
You actually
year
have to pay
supply.
more. You actually have to pay more. Because that's how
It's the
communism
premium
works,
edition.
folks.
It's the premium edition.
This is essentially a category that breaks down to the worst value proposition for any game that's come out this year. And this is another category.
It can be game, it can be service, it can be product, anything.
My number one nomination, and this will get hate because I've seen enough people defend this even with the price hike, is the Game Pass price hike. And the additional change of tiering it and removing day one games from your mid tier. I think they're finally starting to do the thing that was inevitably going to come when the numbers weren't going to hit what they wanted. And that is start to milk the people they do still have for more money to try to continue to justify the purchases and usage of the service.
I personally think that one is so bad is because of what the packages entail. It's like who people like the defenders that you mentioned are like, have you actually looked to see what's involved? This is actually still a great value. But for
Fortnite
like
Crew is amazing.
For like 5 people. You know, that like will actually check those boxes. That yes, they already pay for those things. So yeah, if they get this, they'll save money. But no, the Game Pass hike was the inspiration behind the category, right? You know, that was forever the best value in gaming. All right, Andrew, do you got one? Got one to add?
Yes, I do have one to add. The Game Pass one is not on my list actually, so I do have two. I have two nominations. The first is going to be Mario Kart World. Fuck them.
That was the one that I added.
That is not $80 worth of a game, unless maybe if they said everything that comes out beyond this you get for free. But I don't like that from Nintendo. I think that was a very greedy move on their behalf. I understand
the precedent it has set that other companies have tried to get away with. You know,
yes.
Microsoft trying to charge $80 for the Outer Worlds too.
Yeah, no.
You will pay $100 for GTA 6 and you will like it.
Like, I bought the bundle of the Switch, so my Mario Kart World was only $50. I still think that's too expensive.
It's too expensive. It's too expensive. And it leads to my second
for a party game. For a party game,
yeah.
that's like, oh, there's so much content in it, and I'm like, it's not good. It's not good.
It's not. It's bullshit. All right, that's my first nomination.
I have yet to do a nomination.
Go ahead.
Give me a break.
I'll let you go.
That was the one that I was gonna. That I actually have four things for this one. Game Pass price hike was one. Mario Kart World being $80 is another. My actual number one now is going to be more Nintendo anti-consumerism of locking the radio function for Samus's.
Not locked.
It is. It is.
No,
Stop defending them. You either have to. You either have to. You have to 100% the game, which means you have to finish the game in order to unlock the music that you could normally get just by buying a fucking amiibo. It is a bad anti-consumer practice. You cannot defend it. It is because even if you're like, oh yes, I'll 100% the game and go back and play one of the worst sections of any game you've ever played in recent memory to finally get the functionality of the music, it then is the bad design that there was no music there to begin with. It would be different if there was music there that, yes, you could unlock the feature to choose your music. It is the fact that they have eliminated music from that section.
That's what it, I thought there was music and you just couldn't change to other music.
No, it's like empty. It is
there's light ambient music.
It's not what I've heard. That there's like maybe one track that plays at some times, but that is usually just barren nothingness, and you are forced to. It would be another thing again if this is something that you can choose to engage with. This is a section of the game that it forces you to play for several hours in order to actually get to the final stretch. You've got to collect the green crystals in order to do it. And then they have locked the music behind beating the game or paying $30 for a fucking amiibo. So yes, that is anti-consumerist. That is bad.
I don't like it. Apparently, I'm not saying you should do this, but there are ways where you can get things that might, interact like an amiibo and might do all the amiibos.
But it's a specific. Yes, this is a specific amiibo. It's the specific Metroid amiibo. Yeah, that one's bad. Don't like. Boo. Who had a second one? Matt, you got your second one.
I realistically couldn't find a second nomination for this one for me.
It's because you're too forgiving. You're too.
The hate's too strong.
It's because I personally want gaming to get more expensive so less people play it.
Also bad.
Okay, I got a second one, and it's just any annual iteration of a sports game at this point. It's fucking. I actually have stopped buying them. I just wait till they're on one of the they go to PS they go to PS Plus eventually. I don't need to buy it. It's literally roster updates at this point. They don't make graphic improvement has been minimal for the last decade now. Realistically, there is no justification for releasing these as full $70 games annually. There just is not.
I still don't
maybe buy annually. But it should be a DLC every other year at a minimum.
I still don't want to touch them, even like the ones I get with my subscription, just because I don't want to fill up my hard drive.
The bloat of downloading them. Yeah, they are also enormous. Which, if you're not doing anything, how do you not at least make them more optimized? Nothing changes. How did they not at least optimize this shit? Oh my god. It's embarrassing. Not a good value anymore. I am loath to say this and nominate it, but it's the truth, and that's the reality.
All right, my final one is the Xbox Allies, particularly the Xbox Ally X, as the worst. The worst.
I'd considered that, but then I've read enough articles recently that's discussed how laptop prices are about to explode because
RAM isn't going to be made anymore.
So I'm expecting PC handhelds to also explode because they share a lot of components with laptops. So we could look back in 2 years and be like, wow, $1,000 for a PC handheld, that's actually pretty good.
The hope is that it craters in one way, and hopefully, I say hopefully, but it will have some drastic downstream effects on anybody who has any type of stock portfolio. For the sake of the planet, I hope that the AI bubble bursts soon. But the entire world economy is going to go in the fucking shitter when that happens.
It's going to be bad.
So that it's either that's going to happen or the RAM producers are going to build more factories to meet the demand. They're holding the reason why it's exploded right now is because they think it's gonna pop at some point. That if they were to open these new factories and then produce more RAM, that then they would just eat that shit. They'd be forced to eat the rocks once it pops. All right, votes here. What do we got?
I mean, I'm gonna go Game Pass. Microsoft is the worst actor in this industry, and they deserve to be shamed.
I just don't know how. I know they keep committing we're going to release more hardware. I just don't know how they can commit to that at this point with the way that they've handled the last 2 years worth of its lifespan. Like, if any company would look at the way that they bleed money that way and just would not let them continue to do things and would tell them to just make Call of Duty.
With the new competitor of, the Steam machine coming onto the market to challenge what they are supposedly going to do for their next console, I think at most you're going to see them adopt that kind of model of a direct-to-consumer niche product offering that is not
I just
for
can't
global
imagine
production.
It's probably not going to be on store shelves is what I would have to
That's what I'm saying. It's like it'll be like
from the Microsoft store.
Exactly. And that is just that way they can control stock in inventory, and
that way they don't have to deal with the news stories anymore of companies removing their stock.
The whole gamut of things. We've got one for Game Pass.
That's my vote.
But yeah, it's like yours is a little bit more holistic. So that's going to win. I want to share the hate a little bit, but I can't decide if I'm more ambivalent of the Mario Kart world. I just don't think it's worth the price. The Metroid Prime one is more antagonistic to me. It's really not a huge deal. It's just more of a dick move. So I think I would want to vote that one. It's less of a deal because, again, overcharging for Mario Kart World, which is going to be like the highest selling game on their platform, has a higher impact, right? More dollars.
The last report we got was it was like 94%.
Yeah, a ridiculous attach rate.
Yeah.
And I think of that 94%, I think total it was like 85+% were bundle purchases.
Yeah, which is going to save you some money. And that was totally part of their metric, right? Let's overprice the game itself to push the bundle. And so
and
I'm going to give
people like me who bought the Switch and then just bought the game separately because he prefers it that way.
I just knew the game wasn't going to be worth it enough that I ate my distaste for the digital version. And because of Target delayed my thing, I essentially got mine for free. They ended up giving me a $50 rebate. Yeah, so my vote goes to the Metroid Prime Amiibo music shenanigans, just because fuck that. All right, we're getting close to the end.
Yes, we are. Moving on to, have you ever noticed...
Ties into the previous category.
Yeah. Have you noticed how shitty your badges look in Call of Duty? Do you notice that maybe the language being used in the dub for your first language doesn't make grammatical sense? Well, Gon Machine Learn Today, and you're gonna eat that AI slopification of our beloved video game medium here. That's what we're talking about with this award. Who is using AI to their best abilities, which means, only getting shittier and worse. And I will start off with one of my two nominations that I alluded to in the opening, which is going to be Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of my nominations.
Yeah, doing the Studio Ghibli AI slop after that was already, made the rounds and was ridiculed really shows how in touch they are with what their consumers want.
They're going to shove this shit down our throats until we fully reject it. So good on the Call of Duty swine for not buying nearly as much so far this year. What other nominations we got?
Mine first one, because Black Ops was my second. My first one goes to Arc Raiders and
That was my other one.
and the AI text-to-speech voice acting, which they're like, they claim that they've done this ethically, right? So you should take that with a grain of salt that they're like, yes, we've contracted real voice actors. They have licensed their voices to be used in this model. We don't know what those contracts look like. We don't know what pressures existed to compel voice actors to sign that. We can speculate that it's because voice actors are not paid enough that they will take the job knowing that this is not that of course any voice actor, the reasons why it's Embark, right? That's the studio that why they're like, why this is better for us is because that way we don't have to keep hiring them to come in to voice new lines when we add new content. Of course, a voice actor would prefer that model. That means more work for them. That means more paychecks for them. But of course, we know that within the SAG portion of the voice actors that, there are mixed opinions, that there are those who are just completely against it no matter what, and those who say yes, but do it with our consent. But then there's the fact that the AI dialogue fucking sucks. It's bad. It also just sucks to hear, and it makes for a bad experience. It is like, immersion breaking when it sounds like shit. And again, also the fact that it completely goes against the supposed ethos of like the game itself, that the world has been taken over by machines. Yes. And that because machines...
Yeah, that is a funny...
And because machines are now in control of the world, it has also led to a devolution in human relationships and community, so that we kill each other because of the machines. And Perfect. It's like, yeah, let's just use the machines in our game, in our art form. Let's do that. So Perfect. that one gets my vote.
All right, my nomination, my second nomination is the Tomb Raider 4 through 6 remaster, and the devs there.
I forgot there was even a controversy about that.
Yeah, no, I had forgotten as well. But
it was the French dub, now. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, the French dub. They ended up using AI, and not only did they infringe upon the original voice actress's likeness in doing so, but it's grammatically fucked. And they immediately got called out for it by their French players, who were like, "Guys, this doesn't make sense in our language. You fucking imbeciles." But
they said it with a French accent while smoking a cigarette and cheating on their wives.
Absolutely. So yeah, they're gonna get my other nomination here for being so lazy as to use AI, but then not even having the foresight to just make sure that makes sense to a French speaker. That might be a good thing to do, one would think. But once again, better to just submit to our AI overlords against us.
Get in the pod, eat the slop. All right, Matt, you said basically both of yours already got nominated.
Yeah, you guys covered both of mine.
So this is why we did to make sure we did two, because we ended up with the three categories or the three nominees.
I'm kind of really tempted to vote Tomb Raider just because that's such a silly usage.
Anything with I don't expect involving the French is silly.
Like Microsoft is basically just a giant AI wannabe company at this point, with how hard they push Copilot on me every time.
Mm-hmm.
My vote is for Arc Raiders just because of how on the nose it is.
Yeah, the on the nose aspect of the Arc Raiders use is gonna actually earn my vote.
I think Arc Raiders deserves it. I just think I'm gonna give the honorable mention to the Tomb Raider just because I forgot about that controversy, and I think that's just such a silly way to use it.
It's ridiculous. It's a good poll. It's a good poll. Okay. This is our final category before the real final category where we actually get serious and decide what the game of the year is. But our final category is the passing of the big red nose. Which fan base is now applying the clown makeup now that Silksong has shipped? What is the most anticipated Hopium game that's never going to release? What is the game that in every Jeff Keighley showcase fans are going to be spamming, where is this? I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who are going to keep memeing where is Silksong, and I will laugh at those, but that will never go away. But what's the most hyped vaporware that exists right now? I've got two options here, and I think my number one has got to be Elder Scrolls 6.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I will never believe Todd that that's a real thing that actually...
Dude, he said he's going to shadow drop it one day. That way there's no hype after they showed off a trailer with just a title.
Like 6 years ago.
Yeah, literally. That's a good one. That is a good one. I'm going to go with a little more personal and do, putting on the clown makeup myself. Bloodborne Remaster.
I wanted to avoid Bloodborne because that's the easy answer.
None of you deserve it. It's perfectly playable as it exists.
For me, I was trying to go for the non-obvious one. That's of course going to be and continues to be the actual answer, but these are different.
I get you. It is the easy one, but it is also the one that I actually do want that I don't think's gonna.
I've got a poll for you guys that I don't think anyone remembers. EA's Iron Man game.
Yes, they did say that they're still making that.
Sure. I believe them. They're very legitimate when they say things.
I feel like there was a recent like infographic that was like showing everything that's like planned and that would still fall under the EA buyout, and that's like the only time that I've seen that exist.
I would say I would be putting Wolverine on this list if they hadn't finally showed that off
something
a couple months ago. That would have been my answer.
I mean, the cynicist in me wanted to say GTA 6, but
I think that's a valid one. I do think that's a valid
my
one.
other. That's my second nom.
I still feel like I have not seen proof of life. That like everything that they've shown is that's just all pre-rendered. Basically, could just easily be pre-rendered shit. Like there's nothing that truly makes me believe that that's a real product yet. But my next one is one that has resurged thanks to the recent hardware announcements, and that is Half-Life 3. I don't think Gordon's ever coming back. You can inject him with as many hopium shots as you want. Ain't no resuscitating that guy. Valve does not want to make games right now. That's not their bag, baby. Who's got another one? Andrew, you got another one?
I do. I have one more, and it's probably not a huge hype yet, but when Jeff posted that weird announcement that
the obelisk thing?
Yeah, the obelisk thing. I saw so many people being like, this is God of War 3. And as much as I would like God of War 3, where is that coming from? Who, why, what?
So Matt, you got a final one?
I do, and it's going to hurt you very much in a place of the feels, Ben.
Okay.
I'm going to say...
Oh no.
I'm going to say the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise will not be getting Nintendo Switch 2 updates. And if they do, it will not be updates. It will be full re-releases of the games.
I would pay for it. I don't care. I would buy them. I would defend. I would become their biggest defender for the most anti-consumerist practices ever if they decided to do that. I would buy them twice. I would buy you each a copy.
You wouldn't need to buy me one because I would buy it.
I would. I don't care. You would have 2 copies then. Man, fuck. Oh, I
thought that one would hit you right in the right place because I know that's been your big hope. And I was looking at the list of like upcoming games, and like I could squint and justify enough for most of them. It's like, yeah, those will probably exist at some point. They'll finish that. They'll release that. It's like I really wanted to put Prince of Persia remake, and then there was like, it's coming out in January. We think.
Yeah, that and the Black Flag remake. Like people are like, a good chance we see one or both of those at the Game Awards. So I was originally going to put one of those on as well. That pains me right to the heart. Just twist the knife, why don't you?
Kills you like Fiora.
Oh man. All right, what's where are the votes landing?
Elder Scrolls.
Pain.
I do kind of want to vote for Elder Scrolls just because I think it's funny at this point.
Yeah. We're sweeping Elder Scrolls 6. That's not a real game. Yeah. It's never happening.
I don't think it is.
Todd's gonna retire and be like, that's their problem now.
Yeah.
He's gonna re-release Fallout 3, and then he's gonna leave.
Yeah. No, it's more likely that they do that. Absolutely. Okay. That does it for our official categories. Now it's time to get serious. Put the serious hats on. And actually talk about what is the podcast game of the year. What is the objective truth for what is the game of the year? You can feel free to nominate however many games you want. And I'll let you guys decide though. Do we keep this one? I know in the past we have talked about and done like, what's your personal game of the year in the sense of game you played this year? The defining game of this year. Which do you want to do? Do you want to do both, or do you want to just
Mine
do one?
Mine technically falls into both.
I have one and one. I'll do both.
Okay. It appears that Matt and I are satisfies both, so you can just give yours as a little addendum.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Should I go first, just because it's the most foregone conclusion that
Fortnite, The Simpsons expansion?
Absolutely. I'm going to Camp Krusty and raising the Bart flag. But for me, it's no question in my mind that the game most deserving and the highest on my personal list, if I'm being both objective and subjective, that this year it belongs to none other than Expedition 33. That I do not think there's any world where that's not going to be what we see in sweep the majority of the Game Awards, and I think it just hits every criteria that I look for. And I think the people that hate on it for the reasoning of like that they are trying to push back against the what I think is the incorrect narrative that some of the annoying fans try to push, that this is a game that has saved JRPGs, that this is so innovative or whatever. The game makers themselves have never claimed this. Their whole thing is like, this game is an homage to all the games that we loved and came before it. This is our take on, we loved the Mario RPGs. We loved the Legend of Dragoon. We loved those things that have influenced our gameplay, but then that they've created this world and a story and the music, and just it hits so high on every single metric and that I think that the people who try to disqualify it for some reasons are caught up in
too French.
That's the one thing you could absolutely levy at it. But yeah, the fact that it made me have sympathy for French people, is outstanding. Outstanding narrative work. So Expedition 33.
My first and primary nomination falls to the game that I played the most this year, and the game that came out this year that I think satisfies this category for me the most. It won't win any of these types of categories in any of the other award shows. I just want to put it here for myself, and that is Elden Ring Nightreign.
Which is astounding to me that you would pick a multiplayer game, even a FromSoft one.
My most hours this year.
But that's like, exemplifies, how good it was. That you can overcome your hatred for multiplayer.
Well, the thing is, it's multiplayer. It can be played solo. I think there's experiences in this game where solo is almost better because you don't have to worry about, weird boss aggro where all of a sudden he does a full 180 and hits you from behind. But there's just so much absolute cinema in some of these boss fights, and that's what we come for. That's why we're here. Who doesn't love when Caligo goes phase 2 and the OST change? Who isn't here for when Libra goes Everdark and summons in 14 Iron Eyes spamming,
or 14 Guardians with double finger shields. Just the ultimate turtle build.
Slowly walking towards you menacingly.
Very menacingly. I'm gonna walk through 2 nominations. One is I'm with you, Matt, actually. Just like at a personal game that came out this year of what I've played so far, I have Nightreign as my favorite. It's where I spent the most time as well this year. I love having a co-op gaming experience. That's part of what I love about gaming. As much as I do play single player experiences, like having a multiplayer experience that's fun and something I want to keep going back to repetitively, like Nightreign.
How many times were we playing this game where we were like, okay, we can only get one run in because we have to log off after, and then we'd finish a run and we'd be like, we can do another.
Yeah,
we can get one more.
We can do one more.
Last night, folks.
Yeah, literally. So I think for that reasons, that's kind of my personal game of the year that came out in 2025. The second game I want to talk about, because I think I'm going to surprise both of you with this, is that I think my favorite game for this year, actually, that I've played,
Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact,
is Doki Doki Literature Club.
Wow.
That game has stuck with me in a way few do. I think it is legitimately horrifying in the best of ways. The themes are good and important, and I just really am enamored with that as a gaming experience.
He's got a Monica Fathead stuck to his wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she's looking at me right now. So that's just my personal game I liked the best that I played this year, without the caveat of coming out.
You're welcome.
I know, and that's why I'm shouting it out. I appreciate it. It truly is a really awesome experience.
And that's what we try to do here with it. When we pick games for the group to play, is to try to push each other out of our comfort zones and play just high quality stuff that we wouldn't beforehand. So that's good.
Assassin's Creed.
We don't talk about that anymore. Again, as we said, he's died. He's passed away. It's uncouth to poke fun at the deceased and departed.
But my real nomination and what I will vote for ultimately as the game of the year, and one that I do plan on playing as soon as I wrap up Ghost of Yotei, is Expedition 33. That is my next big game that I plan on playing, and I'm very much looking.
Oui, hon, omelette du fromage. It's so good. And Matt, you need to get over the hate and play it because you're gonna love it.
We'll get there.
You're gonna understand that it is truly.
It'll be like 2.5 years from now.
And you're gonna text me late at night and just be like, "Oh my god, it's so peak." You know, what have I been doing with my life? It's so peak. You're gonna learn today, man. All right. Yeah, even though Nightreign gets the 2 nominations, Expedition 33 is taking it home. It's sweeping it. It's not, we're not saying anything. Nobody else is, Everybody understands that this is what's going to happen. How pissed are we going to be when fucking
Silksong wins?
When Genshin Impact wins the player's choice.
Voice?
The player voice thing for the 5th year in a row.
I was scrolling through the nominations and I was like, look, it's all the games that you would expect to be here.
Like the excluding Genshin and Wuthering Waves, the actual full list when it started at the first round before it was narrowed down, like peak. There's a lot of good shit there. There's like a lot of good games there. And just then to South Korean bot farms, I can't.
If I remember correctly, I don't know if it's happening this year, but I think it was years past. Genshin was giving out like rewards.
Yeah, in-game rewards if you voted for them.
Yeah.
They should be disqualified. Hate it. Boo. All right, folks. Any other kind of capstone gaming moments from the year that you want to shout out before we leave? There's been some highs, there's been some lows. The industry is in, dire straits as it ever has been.
Yeah, like every year.
Is that a JoJo reference?
Which is, a reference to the goated band Dire Straits, as I start, copyright playing Sultans of Swing in the background here. I do not have optimistic thoughts about the industry in its future. There are several bubbles that need to pop that are going to create industry-specific recessions that are going to hurt and impact a lot of people, but I think may, in the long run, have some kind of resetting effect on things. But a lot of people are going to lose their jobs in the meantime. It's not something to look forward to by any means. Not something to cheer on. But for the sake of the industry itself, like, things are going to have to change. And there are still good games to play out there. That's the silver lining in all of this, is that there are still good experiences to seek out and good things to share with those in your life that you care about. And in this holiday season, that's, I think, the message that we should all take away. And I know us 3 are going to go play some more Nightreign. So we're going to keep the spirits high. We're going to keep things moving. So that's my final thoughts. Anything from you 2 that you want to share with our audience in Malaysia that's listening and celebrating along with us? One of these days, Matt's going to start learning Malaysian.
Yeah, I was ready for him to...
Being chillin'.
So whatever do they speak Chinese and English? I don't think so.
Isn't that where Uncle Roger is from? Malaysia?
I'm pretty sure yeah, maybe you're right. So yeah,
all I have to say is play games that you want to play. Enjoy them for what they are. Don't always let other people's opinions or reviews of something taint your feel.
Good piece of advice. Yeah. Says from the man who won't play Expedition 33 because too many people like it. So do as he says, not as he does.
I come from the perspective of seeing a lot of people who'd be like, well, I really enjoyed this game, and then I went to see like the online discourse and people fucking hate it, and now I feel bad for liking it. Like, don't feel bad. Like a game. I played Forspoken. I platinumed it. It was cool.
We aren't here to yuck your yum unless,
I don't know. There's some yums that I'm definitely yucking.
That's for sure. I think my final message is continue on this ride with us. We'll be here giving you the analysis and cold hard facts of our enshittifying and slopifying world.
Yep. Things are going to get worse, but we'll be right here with you, wading through, finding the gold in the piles of shit. All right, that's going to do it for us today. And for this year, we will see you in January. We're recording this at a time where we have no idea what the content schedule is going to look like. So we're recording this before the holidays, so we're going to do something. I think with our revised schedule, it's going to be a topic episode, not a topical episode, not a game episode.
Yeah. January will
first
be
in January.
A topic episode. I need to pick the topic.
Yeah, but we don't know what that is at the moment. So stay tuned. We will see you in the new year. Bye-bye.